listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, my name is Dylan Pollock at National Mortgage Professional Magazine, and I want to welcome you to our webinar titled How to Instantly Multiply Your Production and Referrals, sponsored and presented by NMPU. I want to thank all of our attendees for taking the time out of their busy days for a valuable and informative webinar in our ongoing series. Today's webinar is going to be conducted by Ron Vainberg. He is the Executive Director and Head Coach of NMPU. Ron is a veteran of the real estate and mortgage industry since 1983. As a leading speaker, trainer, and strategic coach, Ron possesses the unique ability to quickly assess any individual business's challenges and provide instant solutions that are simple to implement and provide significant growth results. Ron approaches coaching and training with a singular belief. When you know what to say verbally or in writing, how to say it, and when to say it, exponential growth of your business can happen quicker than you ever imagined. With a committed belief that you don't need a lot of money to make a ton of money in the mortgage business, Ron provides his clients high-impact, no-cost/low-cost strategies that anyone can execute for increased business regardless of whether you're an industry veteran or just starting out. Clients that work with Ron and follow his guidance have often experienced business growth of 25% or more within just weeks of starting with him. Success doesn't have to take a long time. You just need to know the shortcuts to success, which is what Ron provides to his clients. Ron works with retail and wholesale mortgage professionals, mortgage company owners, and real estate agents, as well as brokers throughout the United States. We're going to try and answer as many questions as possible at the end of the webinar. Any questions we don't get to, Ron himself is going to answer you. And without any further ado, I want to turn things over to Ron Vainberg.
Great, Dylan. Thanks so much. Welcome, everybody. Hoping you're able to see me clearly on your computer. And I'm excited that you decided to show up to find out about how to instantly multiply your production and referrals. This webinar today is, we've done other webinars where we've talked about how, specific action strategies on growing your business, marketing strategies, and what have you. This is a little bit of a different take because this is about helping you get clearer on becoming a top producing originator on a consistent basis and avoiding the seesawing of what many people do in their business. So there's going to be a lot of different ideas that are going to be presented to you. I'm hoping you enjoy the program. As Dylan said, fire in your questions, and we'll do the best to answer them at the end. All depends on how much time we have. And any questions that don't get answered, he's going to send to me, and I'm going to actually personally send the responses to you. So we do invite those questions. Looking forward to presenting to you today and right now. So what are we going to accomplish in the next 45 minutes? Let me just close the screen here. There we go. What we're going to accomplish is, first of all, developing and understanding the mistakes that cost you income opportunities. One of the things that happens when I'm working with loan officers and mortgage professionals around the country is there are so many little things that people are doing that are costing them an incredible amount of money, but it's never really measured, because if you don't see it, you don't understand how it's impacting your business. So we're going to talk about the mistakes. We're going to talk about creating predictability in the growth of your production and income. And as I was talking about before, you can chart a lot of originators, up, down, good month, bad month, good month, bad month. And if I was able to see you, I know you can see me, but I know a number of you are sitting there shaking your head saying, yep, I'm tired of experiencing the peaks and valleys. And one of the things is you're going to learn today what you really do for a living and why understanding this will make a huge difference in how much you earn. So with that, let me start off with the question. What is it you primarily do for a living? And we're going to engage you in just a second. Are you a loan officer? Are you an MLO? Are you a loan consultant? Are you a problem solver? Are you a marketing representative? What do you do for a living? Dylan, can you launch that? Let's launch the first poll.
We've launched that poll, and we're asking, what is it you primarily do for a living, as Ron said. So we want to select, you can select multiple if you'd like, loan officer, MLO, loan consultant, problem solver, or marketing representative. So we're going to wait until we've got some of those votes to come in.
Yeah, let's just we need your prompt engagement, so we definitely want to get the responses as quick as possible. Dylan, when we get up to about 60%, let me know.
We are actually at 75% right now.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're actually ahead of the game. Okay, let's keep it open for about 10 more seconds, and then you're going to share the results, correct?
Yeah, certainly. Okay. So we're going to close that now. We had bunch of votes come in. So we had 57% say loan officer, 43% say MLO.
Wait, I'm sorry, you said 57% LO? Okay.
43% MLO,
Mm-hmm.
42% loan consultant,
Mm-hmm.
49% said problem solver,
Okay.
and 34% said marketing representative.
Okay, perfect. And any of you that are math majors, don't try to add this up and say, well, wait a minute, it goes over 100. We know it goes over 100 because you're able to select multiple choices. Okay, great. Let's close that out. Are we back onto my screen now, Dylan?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. Let's talk about this. Before I give you the answer of what you really do for a living, let's just talk about the business in and of itself. What you're seeing here in front of you is what's called the success triad. This is something that I created that kind of gives you a breakdown of what you really do for a living. So the first thing I want you to understand is, or the first piece to the business is what we call marketing. What is marketing? Marketing in and of itself is lead generation. Then we move to selling, which is conversion, which I'm going to go a little deeper on each one of these in just a second. And then the third part of the triad is product. And what I mean by product is it's the mortgage business. It's loan types. It's your disclosures. It's your loan process. It's everything that happens when a borrower says yes. Once a borrower says yes, you are working in this product section. So what I want to do is I want to just make this clear for you, because a lot of times we don't spend the right time or enough time in the right places. So when we talk about training, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach to the mortgage industry, and I pay attention to what's happening. And I can ask you which one of these gets the most amount of focus when it comes to training. And the reality of it is, it's product. Product, it's the mortgage business, it's your NMLS licensing, it's your CE credits, it's making sure you understand TRID, making sure the loans get processed. The bulk of the training in this industry is mortgage industry training. It's not about how to make money. And in fact, I can't speak for every single state in the country, but almost every state in the country I have spoken or trained in, and licensing courses or continuing education courses for the mortgage industry, no sales, no marketing course is ever approved for continuing ed. Only core product-based training about the industry directly impacting the consumer. Why is this? Because the regulatory agencies, which is what they're there for, they're there to protect the consumer. And I have a belief. The regulatory agencies don't care whether you make a dime or not. They just want to make sure every time you speak to a consumer, they are completely protected. They're there for the consumer, and we have to be honest, if they're not there for the consumer, then we have a lot of other problems that would arise in this industry. So I'm not saying that there's an issue with the regulatory agencies being focused on this. I'm just letting you know, because we are such a highly regulated industry, that there is so much that gets focused on in product and the mortgage business and procedures and compliance. So we make sure that when we lend legally. So let's take this a little bit further. Product, I want you to understand, is fulfillment. This doesn't happen until there's a client. Marketing is lead generation. It's where your business starts. Now, product, this area here, the mortgage business, gets more training than marketing and selling combined. And selling is actually conversion. That's getting people to say yes. Product gets more than these two combined. Now, here's what happens. We're so focused on product, we have a little bit of time left over for marketing. When you really look in the industry, there's almost no courses offered, okay? Because I look at what my competitors are doing. There's almost no courses offered that really teach you how to influence and ethically persuade people to want to do business with you, how to compete against your competitors. There's tons of things out there for lead generation, but there's very little out there for persuasion, and these two things work together. Why? Because you can do more marketing, and someone says, hey, Sales is a numbers game, and we've all heard that, and there's truth to that, but the problem is if you're working 40 hours a week and you're closing X loans, if you want to double your business, then you think you've got to improve your marketing. Well, and to improve your marketing, your brain links up not on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level that I have to work twice as many hours. You might do that for a week, but then after that, you're going right back to your old way of doing business, where selling, conversion, allows you to work the same amount of hours, but double, triple, quadruple your effectiveness so you don't work 1 minute more. So I want you to just take note of yourself, inventory of yourself, and ask yourself a question. Am I a really good lead generator? And then how well am I getting people to say yes to me? You know, when they say I'm working with, I already have a pre-approval from another company, are you getting them to say yes? When a realtor says to you, I'm already working with another loan officer or another mortgage company, are you able to persuade them over? That's not marketing anymore. That's selling. That's getting people to say, you know what? I want to talk to you. I want to find out more about you. I harp on this, as much as this program is not about selling strategies, I harp on this because this is an area that costs you more money than you have any idea. It's not just about leads. It's not just about opportunities. It's about winning people over. And there are specific strategies that make the difference. So I really want you to understand what's involved with the triad, understanding that most of it is focused here. Most of the training is focused here, then it moves to marketing, and then you've got to go over to selling. If you're lacking in your ability to convert, you've got to start taking action to become better at ethically influencing people to do business with you. What you really do for a living, you're a marketer. You're not a loan officer. You can't be a loan officer. You can't do anything in the mortgage business until you first have someone to talk to. You have to be a marketer first. And this is going to make more sense. You might say, well, Ron, this is not really a big deal. It is a big deal because I'm going to give you illustrations that I'm sure you're going to be able to relate to in a couple of minutes. You're a marketer first. You have to generate leads. Then you're a converter. You're getting people to say yes to you, and then you're a fulfillment specialist. Now, the traditional loan officer, the way they sell and they market, they generate the lead. Because we don't like to waste time, we have the lead. The first thing we want to do is we want to know whether they qualify. So if we're talking about a borrower lead, we want to know if they qualify. So what do? We start asking them income, asset, and credit questions. Well, think for just a second. If I'm talking to 3 different loan officers and they're all asking me income, asset, and credit questions, which are the foundations for qualification, then what am I going to base my decision on? My decision is going to be based upon who has the best price. But when you generate the lead first and then you become a converter second instead of fulfillment specialist second, a converter second, you're getting people to want to do business with you. And then the third piece is to find out if they can do business with you. Win them over first so you separate yourself from the crowd. When you separate yourself from the crowd, pricing becomes less of an objection for you to handle later on. When people like you and trust you, they are less concerned about price. I'm not saying they're not concerned about price. They're less concerned about price. You have to understand, and I know I'm harping on this, you have to understand with all the crap that has happened in the mortgage industry, people are scared, they're skeptical. You know, where it used to be glorious to be a mortgage originator, now in the media, if you're talked about as being a mortgage originator, there's never a good news report associated with it. It's always about someone who did something wrong. So there's a level of distrust. So when you start trusting, getting people to trust you more in the conversion section, after you've generated the lead, your ability to close and convert and make more money goes up dramatically. So I just want you to think about that for a second. I want you to write this down. I am in the business of marketing and promoting my mortgage services and products to the community I serve. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you do for a living. I am a marketer, okay? I am a marketer before I'm a trainer. Because if I don't have anyone to talk to, if there's nobody on this webinar, then I didn't do a real good job marketing, okay? Or we didn't do a real good job marketing. You have to focus on marketing first. And again, I'm going to give you some illustrations in just a moment that your brain's going to say, wow, I do this, I do this, I do this, and you're going to realize how much money it's really costing you. So you're in the business of marketing, promoting your mortgage services and products to the community you serve. This really should say communities because there's two communities. The two communities you serve, one is borrowers, the second is referral partners, be it realtors, attorneys, accountants, financial planners, whomever it is. So there are two communities that you are marketing and promoting to, one to get leads and one to get direct business from. What are the challenges that prevent consistent marketing? Well, the first one is reactive versus proactive behavior. Do you jump to answer fires? When something comes up on a file, do you drop what you're doing to address it? Are there things that you drop what you're doing to address them that in fact don't need to be addressed immediately? I have a theory, and I found in my live events that a lot of people agree with me that this is kind of what happened. When you got into the mortgage business, nobody ever talked to you about being reactive versus proactive. In fact, if you got into the business when I did it, they handed you a rate sheet and they said, go and talk to people, okay, and go out there and talk to realtors, and they never told you what to say. But here's what happened. You got into the business, you got in, you're a commissioned sales professional, you're a commissioned mortgage loan officer, and you got your first deal. So we baby that deal. We keep it real close to our chest. We're in the office. We're just waiting for them to need something so we can get right on it and get in touch with the borrower. Why do we do this? Because we need to get paid. And when you're starting out on commission, getting that first deal closed, getting that first commission check seems like it takes forever. So what happens is you originated the loan. Now it's in the system. So now you become reactive to everything that the processor or the underwriter needs in order to get the deal closed. Well, what happens is the deal closed. You get paid, and you actually got rewarded for the behavior of being reactive. So your brain links up, when I originate a loan, this is what I do. So I can't tell you how many times when someone will start with me, they say, Ron, I'm doing 3, 4, 5 loans a month, which 5 loans a month is putting you in the top 20% of originators in the country. And they say, I have no time for anything. And I'm like, what are you doing with your time? I know what they're doing with their time. They're very busy being reactive. And I'm going to take this a little bit deeper, but I'm hoping that this is striking a chord that you might realize that if this is a behavior that you have, that you're being more reactive than proactive, you have to realize that it's costing you money. A lot of people, they do not have a clearly defined business development plan. They don't have a plan for increasing referral partners or for systematically generating leads. Actually, that's not true. They do have a plan. In fact, the majority of loan officers use the same marketing and sales strategic plan around the country. It's called winging it. We wake up in the morning, and when we don't have something going on, we wing it. That's when we do something. And I know there are managers and company owners on here that are probably laughing because they know that this is exactly what's going on with their sales team. Not everyone, but many of us don't have our clearly defined business development plan. What is the strategic path that we are going to grow our business? You have to have this. You have to have this, otherwise the market goes up, yeah, you'll increase. The market goes down, you're going to actually go down faster than the market is actually decreasing. Okay? When the market goes up, you go up slower. When the market comes down, it goes down. You go down faster. You slow down faster than the market because you don't have a consistent business development plan. Insufficient appointment goals. You've got to be talking to people. You've got to be making, whether it's on the phone or face-to-face, you have to have a goal for how many people you're going to speak to on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I'm not saying that you're going to be speaking to people every single day as far as solicitation or relationship development, but you have to have enough appointment goals. You have to be reaching out on a consistent basis. We're talking about marketing here. Too much or too little scheduling. What does that mean? Too much scheduling is you put everything back to back to back to back in your calendar, and you don't leave any space for anything. And I'm going to show you a strategy at the end on how you should really start scheduling your time. But once you miss one time frame during the day, what happens? It's just a domino effect. Everything starts going down after that. Some people don't even schedule, they just work off of to-do lists, and the only thing that they put into their calendar are actual appointments. You have to put activities in your calendar also, otherwise they don't get done. It's amazing how many people do not treat marketing as an appointment. They treat it as something to do when they have nothing else to do. And there are so many times that people will find anything to do other than market, because if they actually go out and market, which is where they're going to make their money, you run the risk of facing rejection. That's when you're going to talk to a realtor, an attorney, or an accountant, or a financial planner, or an insurance agent, or whomever, and they can actually say no to you. And if you don't know how to handle that, you're going to stay away from it. I remember when I first got into business, I had a manager. They said, you got to go out and talk to realtors. You got to go out and talk to realtors. You got to go out and talk to realtors. Now, because I didn't know any better, I didn't know what to say to realtors back then. This was back in 1985. So they're telling me to go out. So I went out the first couple of times. I got the crap kicked out of me. I had no idea how to respond to this. I never thought at that moment in time that, hey, I really should learn this. So what I did is every time my manager told me, you got to go out and market, you got to go out and market, you got to go out and market, you got to go out and talk to people, I went home. When I didn't have anything else to do in the office, I would find busy work to keep myself out of the lion's den. And I know there are people on this webinar that have done exactly the same thing or are doing it. Okay? I'm very passionate about this because I hate now, because of where I'm at in my business and where I am working with my clients, is I hate when we see money just slipping away from our fingertips. It's not necessary. It shouldn't happen. We don't set up rules of engagement and expectations. There's an incredible amount of time that is wasted setting up rules. That is because we don't set up rules of engagement. What do I mean by that? If I'm working with a borrower, here's a sales strategy for you. If I were to be working with a borrower, and this is what I show my clients to do, instead of just emailing them the needs list, what you do is you schedule a time to go over the needs list with them. And then what you do is you say to them, look, is there anything on this list that you are going to have difficulty getting to me? Okay, great. Well, you can't give me your tax returns because they're being prepared by the accountant. When will you have them to me? Then I ask the borrowers, I say, when will you commit to having all of these documents to me? And I use the word commit because when people commit, they're far more likely to follow through. But if you just say, when can you get these to me, it's not delivering the same level of importance. I'm letting them know that their commitment to getting me these documents makes all the difference in how quickly their loan will go through, how easy things will go through. I'm setting up their rules of engagement with me. Now, I'm giving you a small piece of a bigger presentation, but when you set up rules of engagement and set expectations with borrowers, they will follow. Most of them will follow, and now you're recapturing time. I have a huge, huge belief that every minute that we can recapture from wasted time and we put it into marketing, you're going to have more business than you know what to do with. This is what I get my clients to do all the time. We take back time wasters, put it into marketing and relationship development and conversion development and influencing development, and what happens is, before you know it, there's so much more business coming in because you're actually engaging in the activities of being a marketer first, a converter or an influencer second, and then a fulfillment specialist third. Okay? Finally, creation of the illusion crisis. This is huge. Let me give you an example. Have you ever, now I'm asking a rhetorical question because you're not going to be able to answer me. Have you ever made that decision that you're going to market, you're committed to marketing, and you're getting up in the morning and this thing goes off? Okay, so you're ready to go, you're getting dressed, you're heading out, and then this puppy goes off. What do? It's a text from our processor, it's a text from our underwriter, it's a text from our manager. There's a problem with the Jones deal. What do? Well, what you usually do is you abandon your marketing for the illusion of a crisis. They might even just say, that you need documents. You need a W-2 or a pay stub or whatever it is. So what you do is you drop your planned marketing for the illusion of a crisis. Now, why am I saying this is an illusion of a crisis? Well, nobody knows that you got a call at 9 o'clock in the morning needing those documents. Or let's say it's an appraisal problem. This is a very common one. You get a notification, you get a text, the appraisal came in $10,000 low. Well, the only people that know that the appraisal came in are you, the processor, whoever sent you the message, and the appraiser. The borrowers don't know, the realtors don't know. They don't know whether you got notified this at 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. But what do? We abandon our marketing to go deal with this problem. Now, let me give you the second scenario. Same thing, you're all set to go out and go marketing. This goes off at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's the appraisal problem. It's $20,000 low. However, you're on your way to an appointment at 9:15 to take an $800,000 loan application. Are you going to address that appraisal problem at 9 o'clock in the morning? And the answer is no. Are you going to cancel your appointment with an $800,000 loan to deal with a $20,000 appraisal issue? And the answer is no. You're not going to do it. But if it's marketing, we cancel it. If it's a hard appointment, we don't. The crisis illusion is that because there's a problem on a file, we're making it a crisis by dropping what we're doing and reacting immediately. There are very, very few things that happen in the mortgage industry. I'm a veteran of the industry. I've been in it since 1985. There are very few things that are crises. To me, I define crises as things that are imminent of closing. So maybe 24, 36, even maybe 72 hours within a closing date where every minute or every hour can make a difference. But everything else before that, rarely is there a crisis. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to be honest. Are you guilty of creating crisis illusions for yourself? Dylan, you want to open that up to the group?
That's open now, and we've got people starting to vote, and they're starting to come in now, but we'll give them a second just so that everybody can get in there. Okay, we're at 60% now. Give them a little more time.
Okay, give it about 15 more seconds. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this. I'm not cracking a lot of jokes or anything today because we're talking about money. Okay? My goal isn't to entertain you today. My goal is to get you to change some things up here. Okay? So I apologize if I'm not, as cracking all the jokes that I might normally do in a webinar or what have you, but it's just because this is just such an important topic that robs people of so much money. Okay, Dylan, what do we got? Let's close it out.
We're going ahead and closing that poll now, and we had a resounding result. 79% said yes, they are guilty of creating the crisis illusion.
So, and what percentage of people voted?
We had 75% of people vote. 75%
of people voted, and we've got 79% of people saying that they respond to crisis illusion. Okay, so those of you, the 79% that actually have said that you respond to crisis illusion, your income without question is being impacted. The other 21%, I do the math, the other 21%, I guarantee you, don't know who you are, but I guarantee you, you are in the top 5% of originators in this country. Because if you don't respond to crisis illusion, then you have to be out there working. You have to be out there marketing. You have to be out there keeping those relationships. The bottom line is you're making marketing your priority. So I congratulate the 21%. The 79%, I'm not going to congratulate you, but I'm not going to beat you up because I understand how you got here by being reactive, but you have the power to change it with the knowledge that I'm giving you here today. Am I going to tell you it's easy? No. The first time that you say, I'm going to, you put marketing into your calendar, you're going to make it an appointment, and this freaking thing goes off. If you wear one of these like Fitbits or Apple Watches or whatever, and you don't go to pick it up, you stroke this thing to see what your heart rate is, and you're going to see your heart rate start going up because you're so not used to doing this. It's a behavior that you're not comfortable with. So there's an idea. Buy yourself a heart rate monitor and see what happens when you actually make the decision that you're not going to respond to a crisis that you normally would create. think that would actually be a good experiment. I would love to get the results on that. Okay, words to remember. These are very important words I think you should write down. Every time I delay or cancel my scheduled marketing time for the illusion of a crisis, I am guaranteed to sacrifice my future income. Ladies and gentlemen, that's an absolute. That's not an if. That's not a maybe. When you cancel your marketing or when you forego your scheduled marketing time that you've committed to for the illusion of a crisis, not a crisis, the illusion of a crisis, you're guaranteeing to hit yourself in the wallet. Because what you're doing is there's the expression, pay it forward. Well, what you're doing is you're robbing yourself forward. Because marketing that you don't do today hurts you a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 2 years down the road. It just builds. It's a snowball. Okay? The more you delay your marketing, the more you delay your income. So I'm hoping you wrote this down if you are one of the people, one of the 79% that fights the crisis illusion. I would have this pinned up on my board, on my steering wheel, whatever it is, and I'd read it every single day. Because until you change this habit of sacrificing marketing, you are not making the amount of money you could make in the hours that you are currently working. And you know what's amazing? Is when you have things scheduled, you manage to get them done. When you don't have things scheduled and you let the day run you actually get home feeling more stressed, more tired, and less fulfilled. I'm not talking about to-do lists. I don't work from to-do lists. I work from project lists. Okay, that's another topic though. Very simply though, a project is an activity where if you're doing follow-ups, I'm not going to say that I'm going to do 25 follow-ups today. What I say is I'm going to do follow-ups from 9 to 11. Because I may have some very, very good quality conversations that could take 15, 20, 30 minutes in the 2-hour time block or that 1-hour time block that I set. And if I'm so focused on the 25, I'm not going to focus on the quality conversation the way I'm supposed to. If I'm having quality conversations and I'm committing to that time, I'm going to write more business. I'm going to have more clients. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Marketing mastery. Step 1, develop a marketer's mindset. Make your marketing the priority. When I get into like a time management program, I always tell people, I go, what's the first thing that has to go into your schedule? And everybody answers marketing because that's all I've been preaching about for the last 25 minutes. No. The first thing that goes into your schedule is what I call immovables. Immovables are the things that are obligations. Doctor's appointment. You're a coach for a kid's sports team. Maybe your child has a game. Maybe you have a game. These are the things that you have to always schedule around. Even if a borrower were to say, hey, can I meet with you at 4 o'clock today? And you know you're coaching your kid's soccer team, you know you would answer, no, you can't. You're not available. Okay? So your removables go in your calendar first, then marketing. Then your lead generation activities goes into your schedule second. Treat marketing time as an appointment. I'm not going to beat this to death anymore. I've said it enough. Make it an appointment. And ask the right prioritization questions. What are prioritization questions? These are the things that keep you on track. The two key questions, the two prioritization questions that I teach my clients are, when you're engaging in an activity or when you're thinking about an activity, you have to ask yourself, what is the highest and best use of my time? Some of you are spending way too much time in $10 an hour jobs. You're doing things during your day at the wrong time, which is the second question. When is the best time for me to engage in this activity? So what is the highest and best use of your time? Marketing, developing referral partners, meeting with borrowers, and dealing with the problems that come with the files. Those are all high-level activities. Chasing paperwork is a $10 an hour job. Now, I know not flashback. I forgot the word. I just went totally blank. I know the response, okay, that I'm going to get back. And they're going to say, yeah, but my processor doesn't call people. I have to call the people. I have to chase the documents. I'm not arguing that. My question is, it's going to be a $10 an hour job that you're going to have to do if your company doesn't do it for you or your team doesn't do it for you, but should you be doing that during prime marketing time? No. You should be doing that when it's not prime marketing time. When it's not prime time to be meeting with realtors or attorneys or borrowers or client or prospects or doing follow-up phone calls. You have to ask yourself, when is the best time for me to be engaging in this activity? So when is the best time for me to be chasing paperwork? When is the best time for me to be completing paperwork? You know, if you're one of those that doesn't complete the application when you're talking to a borrower, you take a half-assed application. First of all, I don't believe in doing that. I believe in touching a file once. But if you're one of those that takes the half-assed application and then you have it sitting on your desk and then you got to get back to it to finish it, that's high stress. But then I get pushback. That was the word I was looking for. I get the pushback, but the borrowers didn't have all the documentation. Well, the reason why they didn't have all the documentation is because you didn't set up the expectations and the rules of engagement properly. You sent them a list and you hoped and prayed that they were going to get the documents for you. Where I teach my clients, when you're talking to the customer, schedule a time to go over that needs list with them. Then find out when they're going to have it to you and have them commit to it. All of these things condense down the time that you're going to need, which leaves you more time for marketing. Hope this is making sense. Commitment. Commit to a specific number of marketing hours per week. People ask me, how many hours should that be? Well, I can't answer that for you, not on a webinar, because I don't know how many hours you work a week. I don't know what you do during the week. I don't know what your volume is. So I can't tell you what your marketing hours need to be, but I'll give you an example. When I do a live event, I'll say 8 out of 10 times, unless it's one of my high-level events, if it's just a general event, there's 8 out of 10 times there's someone in the audience who will say, well, how many hours should I be marketing per week? And I say, okay, well, can I ask you some questions? They say, sure. I say, how much business do you have? And they say, well, none. I say, well, how many hours a week do you work? They say 35. I say, well, then 35. I mean, this isn't brain surgery. If you have no business, you have nothing better to be doing. You should be marketing. But if you've got a whole bunch of files or what have you, your marketing might be 2 hours a week. 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day. It's all customized, and it's interesting. A lot of the times when people start working with, I'll give you one of my coaching secrets. A lot of time when people start working with me, what they do is they don't have this commitment to marketing time. So we set them up, and the amount of marketing time they're doing is inadequate. I don't care what their volume is, it's still inadequate. But I can't get them from 0 to 100 or from 2 to 100. So I say, okay, right now you're doing X amount of hours. So you're doing 1 hour a day. Let's make it 90 minutes a day. That's adding 2.5 hours of marketing time per week. Let's measure the results. Or let's add an extra hour. Because if all of a sudden I tell you to start doing 4 hours or 5 hours of marketing and you're used to doing 30 minutes, your brain says, no way, I can't conceive this. I wouldn't even know what to do. It's like starting to work out. You can't go into the gym and be fit in one day. You have to build it up and be comfortable with the process, but you have to commit to it first. Set a goal for how many follow-up appointments per week. What are follow-up appointments? Follow-up appointments are with referral partners that you've met. Maybe it's talking to them again to follow up from your first meeting because you scheduled a follow-up, or you should have anyway. Or it's following up with prospects, or it's following up with leads that you haven't even gotten a hold of yet. Set a goal for the time frame and the amount of appointments that you want per week. It's amazing. When you set goals and get real specific with numbers, magic starts to happen. Of course, you have to take action. You can't just set the goals and say, okay, well, I set the goals. Ron said it would happen. That's not what Ron said. Ron said you got to set the goals and you have the action strategies that follow it, and then magic happens. Set a goal for how many new relationship development appointments per week. How many new realtors or referral partners, if that's your source of business, how many new people you are committed to having a face-to-face meeting with. When I'm working with my clients, they have goals every single week of how many new face-to-face meetings they're going to have. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 5, depending upon where they are at in their business development. But you have to have a certain number of relationship development appointments per week. You have to have a goal as to how many new relationships you're going to want to build in a monthly period, in a 6-month period, in a monthly period. Because remember, not every meeting you have is going to be fruitful. Not everyone's going to say yes to you. And depending upon your presentation skills, that's also going to impact your ability to persuade someone to work with you, which is why when I taught in one of the previous webinars, the ultimate agent presentation, showed you how to win over almost every agent you meet with just a few simple questions and a simple 5-step process. There are so many things that you can do to condense your time, increase your effectiveness, and increase the amount of money you make without working 1 extra minute a day. Schedule. I have what I call the rule of 6. The rule of 6 is schedule 6 blocks of time for anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes where you are engaged in that time. So if it's follow-up, you're following up. If you're working on your files, you're working on your files. If you're, whatever it is that you're going to do, schedule 60 to 90 minute blocks of time. Then what you do is you schedule 30 minutes in between each activity. So you don't do back-to-backs. What you do is you schedule, okay, I did 60 minutes of prospecting to develop appointments with realtors. Well, some of them may call you back during that 60 minutes. I don't want you taking the call when they're calling you back. What I want you to do is I want you taking the call for them. I don't want you taking borrower calls. But then when you're done with that 60-minute time block, you've now gotten 30 minutes. You've given yourself 30 minutes to deal with any other borrower calls or any problems or anything else that has come in between the time block. Because remember the dominoes. If everything is back to back to back to back to back, the moment you go over on one, you're probably sending the whole rest of your day down the crapper. Okay? I know there are a lot of heads that are going yes to this because you've seen it, and you've lived it, you've experienced it, and probably all too often. Stick to your schedule in the face of crisis illusion. I explained it. We've got 79% of you that know it's a problem. If it's in your schedule, unless it's really a crisis, not an emotional crisis, because that's easy. A true loan crisis, a true loan crisis or a true personal crisis, you do not give up your time for anything. Own those time blocks. It'll take you probably 2 to 3 weeks to get used to doing it, but once you're used to doing it, you'll never, ever go back to the way it was. You won't allow yourself because you're going to realize how much more you get accomplished and how much more successful you are and how much more money you're making. Okay, let's go through some quick action strategies, some takeaways from here. I'm going to go through some questions in just a moment, and I also need your help with something, so just hang in there. Treat your marketing as an appointment. Got it. Don't confuse a crisis with something that is important. That's crisis illusion. Commit to a specific number of balanced appointments per week. How many referral partner appointments? How many follow-up appointments with borrowers? How many follow-up appointments or calls with strategic partners? Schedule them in the beginning of the week, and then you schedule your client face-to-face meetings or phone applications around those times. Your it's funny, when I actually take people in my Origination Breakthrough program where they're actually putting time blocks into their calendar, this is a new segment that we added to the program, they realize that there's really a lot more time in the day than they ever had any idea. They just haven't been using it efficiently. Remain focused on the activities that are the highest and best use of your time and schedule for the unscheduled. Leave the 30 minutes in between your time blocks. It's going to change the way you do business. I'll give you a perfect example. This webinar will be done shortly. It's going to be done I'm on the East Coast. It's going to be done by 3 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to be finished with everything, the questions and everything. We're going to be off the air. I have nothing scheduled for 30 minutes. Why? Because I know there's going to be 1 or 2 voicemail messages here. I know there's going to be some emails that I'm going to be dealing with, and I don't want to delay my response to the people if I don't have to. Now, if there's 100 questions that come in, I'm not going to get them done in 30 minutes, but I'll get some of them done. Okay? So you have to understand how powerful this is. When you commit to marketing, when you commit to owning your time, your future income becomes controlled by you. Your business becomes predictable. Your income becomes predictable. And I'll tell you, there's no greater feeling than really owning in your heart and in your head that you control your income. The market doesn't control your income. Your referral partners don't control your income. Your clients don't control your income. You control your income because as long as you're always marketing, as long as you're always out there prospecting, as long as you're always out there developing relationships, as long as you master the skills to lead people to want to do business with you, you never, ever, ever again will have to worry about where your next paycheck's going to come from. You just don't, because you know that your income is within your control. Here's where I need your help, okay? We've held 2 origination breakthrough events. These are my ultra-private originator events. We held one in LA, we held another one in San Francisco. The one in San Francisco, because we had a major client, because these were originally limited to 32 people. I had a major client who was sending a whole bunch of people, so we had a whole bunch of seats blocked out. At the last minute, they decided that they wanted me to do the event privately for their company. So all of a sudden, I had a whole bunch of empty seats, or what would have been empty seats at my event. I ended up having 11 attendees at my last one in San Francisco. And what happened was the interaction between the group was just absolutely incredible. The way we were able to go deeper on every topic was incredible. The interaction was incredible. It really became it was almost like a one-on-one training program with 10 people. And because there were high producers in the room, they were providing ideas that went beyond the program. So I made a decision that we're going to continue to do future events, but we're only doing them with 10 people. That's it. No more 30 people events, no more 100 people events, no more 500 people events. Only doing very intimate, high intensity programs. We're scheduling our next one for either Thursday and Friday, August 4th and 5th, because it's a 2-day program, or Thursday and Friday, August 11th and 12th. Not sure which date yet. These are the 5 cities we're contemplating. You're not committing to going to it, but if you wanted to consider going to it, where would you want it to be held? Help me decide where to get it set up, because we're kind of mixed as to where we want to do it. We had people in San Francisco from different parts of the country, from Colorado, from San Diego, from the state of Washington. We had all different places. Tell me where you want to go. Dylan, I see you got the poll up, so let's just leave it up for 15 seconds. Let people just give us Dylan, are we getting responses?
We're at 40% now. We got some responses coming in. They're still coming in, though.
Okay, let's give it about another 10 seconds. Why don't you, now, by the way, I'm not guaranteeing the answer on this as far as what the vote is, but Dylan, let's close it out and tell me how many people voted and what the location is, or what the percentages are.
57% of people vote. If you were confused before about where to do it, I would say you're going to be even more confused now. So
tell me why.
17% said New York City.
Okay.
You had 25%, which was the most, say San Diego.
Okay.
19% said San Francisco.
Okay.
18% said Chicago. 20% said San Antonio. So you had 4 of them within a percentage point of each other, and then San Diego only 5 points away.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, it's not often I get surprised, but I'm actually blown away by the results here. Okay. Thanks for your help, but no thanks, I guess. No. We're going to figure this out. We're going to get the message out to you with all the details on the event, but it's going to be only 10 people. So we're going to get that information out to you. It'll probably be out to you within the next 2 weeks, and it's only going to be 10 people. Possibility I might hold 2 of them in back-to-back weeks. In both of these weeks here, it's very possible I might hold them in 2 different locations. Well, it would definitely be in 2 different locations. So I'm going to work on putting that together. Finally, 2 quick opportunities, forgetting about origination breakthrough, okay? And then we're going to go to the questions. If you want an introductory coaching session with me, a free introductory coaching session to find out if coaching is right for you and see how it could make a difference in your business, just go to rvistrategy.com. But let me give you this caveat. You don't have to be making $150,000 a year, but you have to be committed to making $150,000 or more. I have clients that have started with me below that 150 mark, and we work very diligently to bring them up to that mark very quickly. I have clients from $75,000 to $1 million a year, okay, all different levels. If you're serious about growing your business and you really want to find out if this is right for you, go to rvistrategy.com. If you're a manager or an owner and you want to find out about a private event for your team, a customized private event, just reach out to me directly at ronv@nmpmediacorp.com or just call the number right here, 888-979-NMPU and extension 801. And you'll come right to me. It'll become forwarded right to me. Would love to do one-on-ones on the coaching. Would love to do on-site. Dylan. Well, let me say I want to thank you all for attending. We still have a few minutes now for questions. Dylan, we got some questions from the audience that have come in?
We got some questions and comments coming in. We got people who wanted to add their own cities in. I saw Atlanta was a popular one. Probably would have gotten 15% of the vote if we had it on there.
Okay.
So the first question I'm seeing is from Steven. He asks, how do you balance marketing with all the other things the loan officer needs to do in regard to a file?
Stephen, that's a great question. I did allude to that during the program. It's about, your question says, how do you balance marketing? Well, when you put marketing into your schedule first, you're forced to work around it. When you become more efficient working with your clients, like I was talking about, getting them to commit with the documents and taking more control and really mastering the art of control and influence. And again, I always say ethical and moral influence. We're not doing things that are going to hurt people. We're going to do things that are going to help people get the result they want faster. When you master those skills, you're going to actually find that you're going to be able to balance a lot more of your time because, one, you're going to be more efficient and more effective with your borrowers, you're going to be more efficient and more effective with your files, and that's going to leave you more time for marketing. I actually have a client, love her, and she's in Texas, and met her through one of the webinars. And when we started, the first thing I said is, I can't even give you a marketing strategy because she had no time. I said, the first thing we have to do is we got to recapture time. And so we recaptured time. We really worked on it. We created the efficiencies, and it was amazing. Once all of a sudden we started having marketing time, her life became into more balance, her business became into more balance, and her income was going up because she had more time for business development. She actually had leads coming in that she didn't even have time to follow up on. So it wasn't even about marketing. It was about getting her the time to work the leads better. So literally in a matter of weeks, I'll say a month, transformed her whole mindset and how she was running her business, and everything's growing. So it's about mastering those skills. What else we got, Dylan?
So here's one from Mitchell. He asks, when is the best time to schedule your marketing activities?
Mitchell, that's individual because it depends upon what type of marketing you're doing. Are you developing relationships with referral partners? Are you going out to see realtors at open houses? It all depends upon what your marketing strategy is as to when the best time is. So that's not just a simple answer. That's something you've got to really look to as to when are your targets of people you're prospecting to, when are they going to be best available? One of my clients, they work in a corporate benefit, putting out benefit programs, and they go to the same deli every single morning, okay, and they get their sandwich and their coffee every single morning. And I said, did you ever have a conversation with the owner of the deli about what you do? And he's like, no. Well, I told him you got to have a conversation with the deli and let them know what you can do for their employees. But you can't do it at 7 o'clock in the morning because that's rush hour. You can't do it at 11 to 1 because that's rush hour for lunch. So what you want to do is you want to just get a hold of the manager and say, hey, look, I really want to come back and talk to you. When is a good time? and then you're going to schedule it accordingly. So that's just a little illustration. Great question, though. What else, Dylan?
Here's one from Susan. She asks, how soon do you think you'll be announcing the date and location of the next Origination Breakthrough event? And how can I guarantee myself a seat if there's only 10 people allowed?
Okay. Well, I can't answer the dates. We know the dates. It's going to be one of those 2 weeks, if not both weeks. Okay. I can't tell you the location because I now have to go through with Dylan and the rest of my team and figure out where we want to do this, and we're going to locate a venue for it. If you're seriously interested about attending, then send me an email and say that you're very serious about attending, and what I will do is anybody who lets me know that they're very serious about attending the event, I will email them personally before we do the general broadcast marketing. Okay, I mean, it might be the day before or something, but that would be the way you would guarantee yourself a seat to be one of the 10 in the group. Okay, but I can't guarantee the location yet because we got to figure that out based upon the data that you gave back, you as the group. Next question.
Here's one from Joel. He asks, how many appointments should be scheduled per week for developing new relationships?
How much business do you want? How much business do you have right now? That's something you've got to figure out or get help figuring out. There's no number. I mean, I like to say that you want to have, if you don't have enough business, you should be doing at least 3 new relationship development meetings per week. That would be the bare minimum. And only my top producing clients who just have so much business that it's already coming to them from the referral partners do I ever go below 3. I have some people that are at 2 per week. And the top producers, I have, a lot of people at 3 per week, which are, mid-range producers, $150,000 to $400,000 in income. And then if you're below the 150, you're going to be going for 5 a week, 1 a day. Okay. What else, Ellen?
Here's one from Tricia. She wants to know, do you have any suggestions on how to develop the right business plan?
There are so many business plan programs out there. You can search a lot on the internet. I would certainly invite you to have a conversation with me about coaching, but there's a lot of information available about business plans. So it starts with you thinking about what are you looking to accomplish? What do you want your business to look like? That's really where it starts. From there, you can build out what are the action steps for that business development plan and how you plan on building your business. Good question. We have any more, Dylan?
Yeah, we still have a couple more. We'll see if we have enough time to get to all of them.
Okay.
Marty asks, how do I run the risk? Do I run the risk of scaring away prospects or clients by asking too many questions when setting up the rules of engagement?
Okay. I'm sorry, what was the name of the person?
Marty.
Marty, that is it's a very common question. When you know how to ask the questions the right way, no, you don't. Is there a small percentage of people that you could end up, excuse the language, pissing off? The answer is yes. But here's the secret. As long as you're always marketing, you get to pick and choose who you work with, and you get to work with people that you want to work with. So if somebody does not want to, participate in your rules, okay, but again, you have to have the right tact to delivering what your rules are. Don't just say this is the way it is and that's it. There's tact to it. But if somebody doesn't want to play by your rules, as long as you're marketing, then you just move on to the next person. It's like one of the things, it's the joke that I always make with my coaching clients. I say I never want to look at my schedule for a day of coaching and ever say, oh, I got to talk to this person. If I have anybody in my schedule that I feel that it's really just more aggravation to talk to them than not, I don't work with them anymore. If I can't redirect them and I can't get back that relationship that we need to work conducively, then I don't work with them anymore. Why? Not because I have an ego, because you know what? We're not getting out of this relationship what we're supposed to. And it's the same thing with borrowers. It's not just about getting the deal closed. It's about the relationship and the experience that goes through it. Because we've all had that client. It was the customer from hell. We got paid, but we felt like a nonprofit organization because they just exhausted us mentally and emotionally and our time. So I'm not worried about scaring people away as long as you know how to do influence the right way. And as long as you're marketing. If you're not marketing on a consistent basis, then you have to be very scared. But then what you're going to do is you're going to be at the customer's beck and call, and you're going to have no control over your business. Good question. Any more? We got time for about two more questions.
You want to do two more? We'll get through two more questions. So we've got
two quick ones.
Jason, who asks, how many hours per week should I be working on marketing?
Again, that's very similar to the question earlier that I had answered. It depends upon how many hours, how much business you need, how much business you have right now. What are your goals? What are your, what is your time availability? What is your business model? And then we figure out marketing. I would say a minimum, if you do not have sufficient business, a minimum of 2 hours a day. Minimum of 2 hours a day. Last question.
And finally, Don asks, he says he's never been coached before. How does he know if this is the right thing for him?
You don't. What you do is, you said Don?
Yes.
Okay, Don, coaching is not for everyone, and not every coach is for everyone. There are plenty of people that I've talked to that I'm not the right coach for. There are other coaches out there that they may connect better with, and there are other people that don't connect with those coaches and connect with me. Your first step, which I would say is if you're serious about coaching or serious about finding out about coaching, then I would suggest to you just go to rbistrategy.com, set up an introductory call with me. We'll talk about coaching. We'll figure out whether you've got the right temperament for coaching, whether it's with me or someone else, and we can go from there. Okay? Dylan, I know we're out of time. It's 3 o'clock East Coast time. We've been on here for 60 minutes. I want to thank everyone for being on this webinar today. Hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate your guidance as far as the event. I'm going to work through that, and we're going to make the announcement. Again, anyone who knows that they really want to, or thinks that they really want to participate in this event and be on the short list, email me ahead of time. Let me know. You can just email me, ronv@NMP Media Corp. Say, Ron, I'm really interested in the Origination Breakthrough Program, and you will be notified before the general announcement of the events. Okay? Dylan, thanks so much for helping me through this today.
Thank you, Ron, and I want to thank all the attendees who took the time to join us on the webinar. And I want to thank you for the content. It was excellent. We're going to send out a copy of this PowerPoint and a recording of this webinar tomorrow, so everybody look out for that. If you have any questions, again, I know Ron said it already, but I'm going to reiterate. Please email Ron at ronv@nmpmediacorp.com. And
wow,
I just want to say,
I just noticed a typo here. I've got .com twice. Okay.
Only one .com.
Only one .com. I just noticed that now.
And I think that does it for us. We're looking forward to seeing you on our next webinar, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your days.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dylan. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.